Hello and welcome to our channel where we share tips and tricks on how to raise healthy and happy chickens. In today's video, we are going to talk about 11 ways that you can accidentally kill your chickens and how to avoid them. Chickens are amazing animals that provide us with eggs, meat, and companionship, but they are also vulnerable to many dangers and diseases. If you want to keep your chickens alive and well, you need to be aware of these potential threats and take preventive measures. So let's get started. 1. Predators. One of the most common and obvious ways to lose your chickens is by predators. There are many animals that would love to have a chicken dinner, such as foxes, raccoons, hawks, dogs, cats, snakes, and even rats. Predators can attack your chickens at any time of the day or night, so you need to protect your flock with a sturdy and secure coop and run. Make sure that there are no gaps or holes in the walls, floor, or roof of your coop, and that the doors and windows are locked. You can also use electric fencing, motion-activated lights, or guard animals to deter predators. 2. Heat stress. Another way to kill your chickens is by heat stress. Chickens are not very good at regulating their body temperature, and they can easily overheat in hot weather. Heat stress can cause dehydration, panting, lethargy, and even death. To prevent heat stress, you need to provide your chickens with plenty of shade, water, and ventilation. You can also add ice cubes, frozen treats, or misters to their water sources. And avoid feeding them too much protein or grains, which can increase their metabolic heat. 3. Dehydration. Dehydration is closely related to heat stress, but it can also happen in cold weather, especially if your chicken's water sources freeze. Dehydration can cause weakness, loss of appetite, reduced egg production, and death. To prevent dehydration, you need to make sure that your chickens always have access to clean and fresh water. You can also add electrolytes, apple cider vinegar, or garlic to their water to boost their immune system and hydration. 4. Parasites. Parasites are another way to kill your chickens, or at least make them very sick. There are many types of parasites that can infest your chickens, such as mites, lice, worms, fleas, and ticks. Parasites can cause itching, irritation, anemia, weight loss, reduced egg production, and death. To prevent parasites, you need to keep your coop and run clean and dry, and use natural or chemical treatments to get rid of them. You can also feed your chickens garlic, pumpkin seeds, or diatomaceous earth to help them fight off parasites. 5. Diseases. Diseases are another way to kill your chickens, or at least make them very sick. There are many types of diseases that can affect your chickens, such as coccidiosis, salmonella, avian influenza, Marek's disease, and Newcastle disease. Diseases can cause diarrhea, vomiting, coughing, sneezing, paralysis, and death. To prevent diseases, you need to keep your coop and run clean and dry and quarantine any new or sick birds. You can also vaccinate your chickens or use natural remedies such as herbs, probiotics, or oregano oil to boost their immune system. 6. Poisoning. Poisoning is another way to kill your chickens, or at least make them very sick. There are many things that can poison your chickens, such as moldy feed, spoiled food, toxic plants, pesticides, or household chemicals. Poisoning can cause drooling, tremors, seizures, and death. To prevent poisoning, you need to store your feed and food in airtight containers and dispose of any moldy or spoiled items. You also need to keep your chickens away from any toxic plants, pesticides, or household chemicals. Have an injury. Injury is another way to kill your chickens, or at least make them very sick. There are many things that can injure your chickens, such as sharp objects, broken bones, cuts, wounds, or pecking. Injury can cause bleeding, infection, inflammation, and death. To prevent injury, you need to inspect your coop and run for any sharp or dangerous objects and remove them. You also need to provide your chickens with enough space, toys, and enrichment to prevent boredom and aggression and separate any bullies or victims. If your chickens get injured, you need to treat them with antiseptic, bandages, or antibiotics and isolate them until they heal. 8. Starvation. Starvation is another way to kill your chickens, or at least make them very sick. There are many reasons why your chickens might not get enough food, such as poor quality feed, insufficient quantity, competition, or theft. Starvation can cause emaciation, weakness, reduced egg production, and death. To prevent starvation, you need to provide your chickens with high-quality feed and enough quantity for their size and breed. You also need to make sure that your chickens have access to their feeders and that they are not being bullied or robbed by other chickens or animals. 9. Frostbite. Frostbite is another way to kill your chickens, or at least make them very sick. Frostbite is a condition where the tissues of the body freeze due to exposure to cold temperatures. Frostbite can affect the comb, wattles, feet, and toes of your chickens and cause pain, swelling, blisters, necrosis, and death. To prevent frostbite, you need to provide your chickens with a warm and dry coop and enough bedding and insulation. You can also apply petroleum jelly, coconut oil, or aloe vera to their comb, wattles, feet, and toes to protect them from the cold. 10. Drowning. Drowning is another way to kill your chickens, or at least make them very sick. Chickens are not good swimmers, and they can easily drown in deep water, such as ponds, pools, or buckets. Drowning can cause suffocation, hypothermia, and death. To prevent drowning, you need to keep your chickens away from any deep water sources and cover or remove any buckets or containers that can hold water. You can also provide your chickens with shallow water dishes or nipples for drinking and make sure they are clean and unfrozen. Number 11. Cannibalism. Cannibalism is another way to kill your chickens, or at least make them very sick. Chickens can sometimes peck and eat each other, especially if they are stressed, bored, overcrowded, or injured. Cannibalism can cause bleeding, infection, disease, and death. To prevent cannibalism, you need to provide your chickens with enough space, toys, and enrichment to prevent boredom and aggression and separate any bullies or victims. You also need to check your chickens regularly for any injuries or wounds and treat them with antiseptic, bandages, or antibiotics and isolate them until they heal. You can also use peepers, bits, or anti-pecking sprays to discourage pecking behavior. That's it for today's video. We hope you learned something new and useful. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more chicken-related content. Thank you for watching and see you next time.